About 40 years. I'm 52, so I started when I was 11. Yeah. Oh. My first role was a party child, and we performed it at Cape Elizabeth High School, and I wore a pea green taffeta party dress, which had been worn many times, and it had a huge oil stain in the center of the skirt, like somebody had eaten a whole Italian sandwich and dropped it in their lap. And I couldn't have been happier with that dress. I loved it so much. And I felt like a party girl. So it was the year that John and Linda Mealy bought the school. And Linda danced the dewdrop. And it was after she had Janet Mealy. And she did the dewdrop, and I was just beside myself about being a kid. And somehow I was backstage, and I saw her take off her shoes, and there was blood all over the place. And I remembered thinking, this is really not what I thought it was. It's maybe more work than I anticipated. And it was the first time my eyes were really open to how hard it is to do what dancers do. Marzipan was such a pleasure to dance because it was so difficult and so precise, and I think a lot of people don't realize that when they see it because it's so delicate and the music is so delicate, but it took such discipline. I loved dancing that, and for the sheer visceral feeling, I think when you're in the middle of snow and the choir starts singing, I still cry now when I hear it. I think when I think about, oh, I wish I was still dancing in pointe shoes, I think I feel it when I watch snow. Well, you don't see people on stage in flowers with a Dorothy Hamill haircut anymore. Spanish doesn't just consist of a black leotard and tights and a hat with pom-poms on it. When I was 17, I graduated high school and left for a little over 10 years, lived in other places, and when I came back to town, they happened to be looking for someone to teach. And I came back. And the difference between the place that I left and the place that I returned to 10 years later was incredible. The caliber of the dancing, the scale of the productions, the beauty of the costumes. Between Linda MacArthur Mealy and John Mealy, and bringing Beverly Lowe in as a teacher and bringing Gail Chobot in, they have created something that is, it's world class in the way that they approach every production. They approach it with such professionalism. And I know that there are people who would prefer to drive up from Boston and see Maine State Ballet's Nutcracker than stay down in Boston and see that one. Not that it's not lovely, but we put on a beautiful production. The scale and the level of ability jumped exponentially from the time that I left and the time that I came back. It was stunning to see. And it does that every year. Every year it gets better. For me, I think one of the greatest gifts that Nutcracker gives me is watching all the young men and women who were little tiny reindeer, many of them, and who become just stunning to watch, And it's foolish. People, you say, oh, it brings a tear to my eye, but it does. When you see somebody who has grown from a little child to somebody who captivates and mesmerizes the audience and begins to recognize what they're capable of doing while they're on stage, and then you see that project to the audience, I want to say magical. It's a magical thing to see, and I think it's a great honor to have spent so many years watching these young men and women grow up within this organization. It's a gift every year.